Making a good roller cover is important, Kevin, and let me tell you why. This roller in particular stands out as being fluffy, looks good, looks like it might do a good job, but in fact the lint comes right off. All these fibers, they end up on your wall and it looks lousy. So I like a roller cover that has a nice tight fiber quality. This one in particular is 3/8 inch thick, and it's perfect for our smooth wall over here.
Okay.
But even with this one, it releases some lint. So what I like to do, little technique I picked up, is take a little duct tape and just run the roller cover over the duct tape.
Really?
A couple times, yep. And even with this one that's advertised as lint-free, you're gonna get a couple little lint bunnies, if you will, left over on the duct tape.
All right.
But I take it one step further. I actually dip this into water.
Just like your brush.
Similar to the brush. And use the same spinning tool to get the water off.
And this guy's going to hold a roller cover as well as a brush. That's clever.
That's right. Yeah, great tool.
So again, we're starting with a damp surface here before a latex paint.
Yep, and for the same reasons. It cleans up easier, I can use it multiple times, and then it applies paint in a nice uniform fashion, so the finish is really sweet.
Let's get some paint on the wall.
Okay, here we go. Loaded up my roller arm.
Now you're not using a tray, you're using this bucket.
So with this inverted tray, I roll my paint onto the roller cover as uniformly as possible. I really want to saturate the nap. So let's come up to where my ceiling's cut in. And then with my roller arm, I'm going to get as close as I can to the ceiling, theoretical ceiling in this case. I'm going to put on a nice 2-foot swath of paint, if you will.
And you're not even going across the entire wall, you just got a little 2-3 foot section there.
Right, I try to only apply the paint the width of which I can handle before it starts to dry. So I'm going to go left to right, and I'm going to keep everything as uniformly wet at the same time.
Okay.
So now I'm going to chase that wet edge, make sure it doesn't set up before I can finish the wall. And I do work in a rectangular boxed fashion, if you will. So I'm going to go the full length of my wall, and I'm not worried too much about the way I apply the paint, but I am going to stay tight in a nice rectangular fashion, put it on as uniformly as I can.
But you actually wanted the stuff that you cut in along the trim to dry before you put the roller on this wall?
That's right. I'd go to great lengths to make sure that I do not roll out the wall until the perimeter is dry.
Completely dry.
That's right, because if I don't, you know what ends up happening as I'm rolling along that brushed in area? It starts to lift and pill and do the same thing that happens on my dried brush. And the last little technique that I like to share is I come from the bottom and do one careful, controlled tip up.
And this is evening it all out for you right now.
So each upward stroke that I make, I do a slight overlap on the previous stroke. And as I'm doing that, I'm also just slightly putting pressure on the right-hand side, lifting the left-hand side up a little bit so that I don't create any ridges of paint.
All right, well, good tip.